Head straight into Wednesday's mail for a story about Jews, anti-Semitism and comedy with the woefully out of his depth Lewis Schaefer.
I think I meet three of those occasionally. Anyway, this is Met Police could launch an investigation into Soho Theatre after Jewish audience member was hounded out by I don't want to read this because we don't know what the truth is, and you're going to tell us what the truth is. I can't be sure about the truth is, but this is somebody that I know. I'm not saying he was a friend of mine, Paul Curry, but I knew him up in Edinburgh at the Edinburgh Festival. He seemed like a lovely guy, and I don't want to judge him because a lot of times what happens in a comedy club is not translatable outside of a comedy club. It could have been totally misunderstood. I myself have done my award-winning Holocaust material, and people have misjudged it.
Mate, I've done Holocaust material,
yes,
and I've had people walk out here.
Yeah.
But Paul, this isn't about a routine that has gone...
Can I finish my point?
Okay, what's your point? You made your point.
No, I didn't make my point.
Okay, it's just now, Paul...
I was...
All right. We'll come back. You save that point. We'll come back to you in a second. Paul.
Yes.
The argument here is that this wasn't a comedy routine that went wrong. This was a racist incident. Surely there's a differentiation between the two.
Yes. And if that's proven, then it should be dealt with as such. Now, I, again, have a problem with it. I don't like to see comedians under attack for things they've said on stage. I don't want police to get involved in what comedians do on stage, because lots of things happen on stage in the name of humour that, out of context, in the real world, could be seen as very bad.
Definitely.
So, I just want to say that. There's a certain schadenfreude for me in that it's happened at Soho Theatre because they're supposed to be this bastion of safe space, woke comedy, and I should imagine it's come as quite a shock to them to find out that something like this has happened. I am not surprised it has happened there, but I don't know enough about it. My first reaction to this was, I can imagine this happened. I can imagine this happened given the context of the political landscape at the moment and the type of people...
Can we describe what happened then, please?
So, OK, from my understanding, and I know you probably know a lot better than I do, my understanding is that at the end of his set, there was a standing ovation, and that two of those people at least didn't stand, and when he questioned them why, they said because he'd introduced the Palestinian flag at some point, and then he hounded them out and encouraged the audience to do so using quite inflammatory...
Well, swearing at them and telling them to F...
So,
yeah.
All I would say is I find it very difficult to criticise a comedian for something that's been on stage without the context. Absolutely.
So, this is just adding a little bit to that, and Lewis... The incident I understand is, yes, he got out a Ukrainian flag, he got out a Palestinian flag, trying to make this, I believe, a crass comparison. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think it's ahistorical nonsense to compare the two in this situation. That's fine, but that's his right as a performer to do that. Of course it is. It's also his right to say to somebody, oh, why didn't you enjoy, why are you not clapping, or why, to get this fake standing ovation for these flags. There's nothing wrong with any of that stuff. The difference is that once this person revealed themselves as, and he didn't get abusive to my understanding, and this is from multiple witnesses, that there was an Israeli man there and he said, yeah, I just didn't like that bit, that he then, Paul lost it, started swearing at him and ordered him to leave, and as other Jewish people left as well, Paul led basically a sort of mob of people going, ceasefire, get out. Now that for me feels like a hate rally, not a comedy routine.
It does, but it was expressed in a newspaper, in the Daily Mail. So
No, it's been expressed in multiple newspapers, including The Guardian, including elsewhere. And the police have investigated, are now looking into it.
We were not there.
Okay.
And it sounds horrendous. It sounds horrific. But how many times?
Okay, no, you're right. All right.
How many times?
Saying that it did happen to what we just talked about.
If it did happen,
what do you think then should be the response?
I'm going to tell you what it was. If it did happen, it was from what I've heard, Paul went to a Palestinian rally.
So what? That's fine.
I mean, this is what happens.
I think they're idiots, but
you get worked up in the feeling of the moment, and you feel for the Palestinians, and and you go. Then you
start screaming at Jews to get out of your show and swearing at them.
Yes, it's very bad. But the fact is, Josh, you're always acting surprised. People hate Jews.
No, it's not that I'm acting surprised at all.
I was the most.
What's surprised is
I'm going to tell you what I was most surprised at.
Yeah.
That Paul Curry, who is a very distinctive, unusual act, okay, got 200 people at the Soho Theatre. And I'm thinking, my God, he's doing so great, you know?
Well, good for him.
Now he's going to have to perform for the same kind of people. The people are going to come and see him just because he's going to have to hire Jews to sit in the audience for him to curse out. And
great, and you're always available.
By the way, if you do want to go to comedy and it not become a hate rally, go to Comedy Unleashed.